Hello everybody. Today's video topic was actually requested by a viewer and hopefully subscriber, and I'll put the message right here. And overall there's two parts to this, two different topics, but here we are doing it in one. So the first one is all about how the body is a reflection of the mind. And so with this idea of the body being a reflection of the mind, there's different layers to this. And so maybe at the top of the surface, there's the idea of if we are taking care of our bodies, then odds are we have the mindset and the determination, the inspiration, the what have you, to bring yourself to the gym. But I want to go beyond that layer. And to me, the more meaningful layer is that we can use physical, often quantifiable hobbies, tasks, activities to level up our mental game. So what I've gone down the path of was tennis and gymnastics. So both of them have served purposes both at the physical plane, but more meaningfully in the mental realm. So first, I'll start with gymnastics. Okay, so at the surface, I was perhaps doing backflips, but on the mental realm, I was recognizing where my fears lie, where my boundaries of perceived comfort lie, and I was setting up a plan and actively working on them regularly to the point where I was able to overcome these fears and attain that level of satisfaction that comes with recognizing that we are capable of whatever it is that we set our minds to. And yes, it was displayed with a backflip or a handstand or what have you, but overall it was the mental effects that were truly gratifying. And then apply this to the tennis, and this is again a new sport to me, really fairly new. And now we're bringing in a competitor, where me and another person, again, shout out Michael, are the ones that are going against each other, but also ourselves. And so yes, we are competing on the scoreboard, but again, this is a true battle of grit and determination that again is stemming from our mindsets. The idea of our bodies being reflections of our minds can help us recognize that by taking physical action, we can be illuminating our mental patterns and behaviors that are either in harmony with who we wish to be or are disharmonious to who we wish to be. Let's take this example of tennis where, let's say I'm competing against Michael and we're going head on head and I lose a point. Am I shifting the blame onto myself and recognizing that I have faults in this way, I'm exhausted because of this other excuse? Am I not even taking the blame at all and saying, oh, it's just a fun game, whatever, there's no harm, no foul? Or am I shifting the blame onto Michael? Am I saying, oh man, he beat me, it's not fair, he's this, he's that? Where is my mind instantly going? This is going to eliminate thought patterns that we low-key have with us beyond the tennis court. And if we can eliminate them in this fun, playful game that's ideally here to help us in the physical and mental realm, then these are lessons that we can take away about ourselves that can be applied in business, in relationships, in personal, and what have you, in everything, ideally. So the takeaways for this are not to get too wrapped up into the sport that you're playing or what physical hobby you're going to pursue, but more so for the lessons that you can wish to learn and glean from that experience itself. So overall, there's, let's say, the mental, physical, spiritual, and perhaps even social. Mentally, we could be working 8 hours a day. And does that mean to find balance, we have to be physically exercising for 8 hours a day? No. So in my eyes, it goes as follows. We have the most mental capacity and endurance mentally, and then physically, and then spiritually. So maybe I can meditate for 2 minutes a day and be totally fulfilled for the rest of the day. However, I can put 8 hours of hard work in a day and maybe perhaps 2 hours of physical exercise. So whatever that is try to seek and find that balance. And then once you've had that balance, that regular routine, then begin incorporating new skills, new tasks, new challenges, whether that be physically with new sports or perhaps new hobbies or maybe even new friends that you surround yourself with that are experts in some way that is new to you. Overall, there are countless ways of improving yourself across any domain, but so long as you find balance, that is the key to have that baseline that you are thus working from. And so the second topic is what I like to consider as spiritual detachment. And with this, we can go to the idea of we have these regular tasks and responsibilities, such as filling out government forms or paying taxes. Of course, no one's going to enjoy doing that. I mean, perhaps you are, but that's beside the point. The idea here is that there are necessities of us to take part in, as termed by the viewer as silly things that I think we can all relate to. And yet we're here on like the mental and spiritual plane thinking, oh, what even is life after death. We're thinking about bigger things than just filling out these forms that feel really confined and just regimented, that really take away our autonomy and freedom to express ourselves. And I like to consider this to being tall. When you're tall, your feet are planted on the ground and your head is as high up as possible. However, if you're just jumping, then your feet are totally off the ground. And yes, your head is higher, but you need to be able to have that soft landing and return back to having your feet on the ground. And so I can make this comparison because when we are appropriately grounding ourselves, then we have our feet on the ground, and then we can raise our heads or our third eye as high up as possible, into the clouds, into outer space, into wherever. And we have to find that balance between the two, because as tough as it is to accept, there are inevitable things in life, such as these tax fill out forms or what have you, that we have to get through. And we can do it from this point of, oh, they're so silly, I'm not even going to do it, I'm going to be upset, I'm going to be angry at all this. Or we can do it in a lighthearted, uplifting nature. And the way to actually be lighthearted and uplifting is to have this mindset of growth, of improvement, and of balance. Growth in that we are recognizing where we were today, or perhaps yesterday, and where we are after having completed these tasks. Perhaps with the tax fill-out forms, we are able to reflect upon our past year. We're able to fill out these forms and be like, man, I'm so glad I earned this much money. That was so fun. That was enjoyable to go through all this working experience, get that paychecks, etc. Or we can have the improvement of, hey, now I actually know how to fill out these forms, so that next time it's going to be a breeze. And we have to recognize that our souls are here for a reason. We are here to accept, recognize, and understand everything that we are going through, everything that this system of this worldly matrix is putting up for us to complete. But let's get deeper into this idea of spiritual detachment, because I've seen it countless times from my peers that have awakened up into whatever that means to them, and they've even gone down the path of being depressed. They've recognized that everything that's going on in this world is kind of counterintuitive to life and to being able to thrive to some degree, and that just makes them feel powerless, and overall it's disempowering. And often with this, they may detach themselves personally from associating with anything that this world has to offer, including tax forms and what have you. Professionally, in terms of going to a 9-to-5 job that they can exchange their time for money, and other examples. But the whole idea is that we are getting to the point where you are fed up with the system and that you don't want to be a part of the system. You're tapping out because you want to express your freedom, your autonomy, to make that decision, because you're here to live your life equal to all others, and you have the power to do so, so you might as well take that action. However, that comes with drawbacks that we have to be aware of. And a possible drawback to this is questioning whether we are even happy being detached. Perhaps we're not happy being fully attached and being so zoned in on this matrix, and on the other side of the spectrum, being completely detached, we aren't really getting anywhere. We're simply being so upset with the system and so awakened and illuminated to it all that we're not playing a part in it. And again, we're not getting anywhere. So in my eyes, there's a fine balance that, yes, we may have to compete in these necessities of life itself, but we might as well do so with having the freedom and the autonomy over our mindsets. Because at the end of the day, that is at least the one thing that we can control. Maybe we have to fill out these stupid tax forms, but we can have a mindset that doesn't understand them to be stupid tax forms. We can recognize on other parts of the experience themselves. Perhaps we can focus on anything we want. And perhaps on the surface, we may be filling out forms and such, but deep in, there are lessons to be extracted in one way or another. And all you have to do is seek and keep an open mind, be lighthearted, and have an uplifting spirit for yourself and others. And hopefully on the reflecting part of that, this life will shine that right on back to you. I trust that this video will at least serve as some form of catalyst to get you to where you wish to be. And if not, then drop a comment below, join the Discord, drop comments there, text me if you have my number, and I'll see you all tomorrow for day 100. Peace.